Sevens, welcome to your Friday math lesson. So for this math lesson, we're going to start off with a review, as usual, by naming the types of triangles that we went over. And we're also going to be getting into angles of triangles. And I promise you, angles of triangles is super easy. You guys have already done something quite a bit like this already. So before I get further into it, we are going to get into labeling these triangles for our review. So remember how we label our triangles is we first have to label the angle and then the type of triangle by length. So remember our angles are acute, obtuse, and right. Our types of triangles are isosceles, scalene, and equilateral. Let's label this triangle right here. These little ticks here tell me that these two lengths are the same. What type of triangle has two lengths the same? It's isosceles. And first we have to put the angle right here. What kind of angles are we dealing with? Well, they're all pretty small, so I know that they are acute. So we're dealing with an acute isosceles triangle. This right here, that little box in the corner right away, tells me that this is a right angle triangle. So right away, I can tell you that's a right angle. Are all these lengths the same? Nope, they don't look like it. So I know that this is a right scalene, because scalene triangles are when all the lengths are different. Now looking at this triangle here, I have this one angle here that's pretty big. So I know right now that big angle tells me it's an obtuse triangle. So remember, right and obtuse means only one angle is either that right angle or that obtuse angle. Acute triangles, they're all small angles. Obtuse, are all these lengths the same? Nope. So I'm dealing with an obtuse scalene. So like I told you guys before, if it is a scalene triangle, there probably won't be any ticks around the edges, or it'll show you 1, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3 ticks. You won't see that as often, but you do see it sometimes. If it's isosceles, it will most likely have those little ticks there to show you that they're different lengths. If it's equilateral, so you guys went over the types of triangles. Now we are going to go into how to find angles on triangles. So angles on triangles. So here's the rules with angles on triangles. All three angles added up together. So all three angles, oops. All three angles equal 180 degrees. Here's why. Because if I took all these angles, so if I cut off all these corners of these triangles and laid them out, as in I have one angle like this, that's my right angle, another angle like this, and that's my other angle, and my last angle like this, they create a straight line at the bottom. A straight line has a 180 degree angle. That's why, because if you put all those angles, if I cut all the corners off a triangle and lay them out, I could create one flat line or one flat angle of 180 degrees. So that's the rule with triangles, is all three angles added together equal 180 degrees. Our job is going to be find the missing angle. So today this is going to be, or right now this is going to be our missing angle, is this one right here. This angle right here is that little square. I know right off the bat that is a 90 degree angle. Even if the number is not given to me, I know it's a 90 degree angle because of that little box. To find the missing angle, this angle right here, I'm going to give it to us. So when you get to find the missing angles of the triangle, you are going to get 2 of the angles. Your job is to find the third one. So that's our mystery angle. This one we know is 90 degrees. This one I'm going to tell you is, let's make it 43 degrees. We need to find this missing angle. How can we find the missing angle of our triangle? If all 3 angles added together equal 180, what you do is 180 minus 90, and then minus 43. And that will give us the missing angle. So I have 180 minus 90. 180 minus 90 equals 90 minus 43. 90 minus 43 equals 47. So my missing angle right here is 47 degrees. Okay, so this is a lot like when we were dealing with our angles, our flat angles, that you had to find the missing angle that had to add up to 180 degrees. Remember those? This is the same thing, except this time, instead of taking 180, subtracting one angle, you're subtracting 2 angles. So our supplementary angles, it was basically 180 minus, 105, and you had to find the missing angle. This time you're just subtracting 2 angles from it. And that's all it is. So I'm going to give us a few more examples. This time I'm going to label our triangle a little bit more properly, so we know how to properly label this angle. So I'm going to draw this as best as possible. So we have 3 angles. I'm going to give us this one, which is 37 degrees. This one is 95 degrees. We have to find this missing angle. All right, so we know our triangle equals 180 degrees. I need to find this missing angle. So I'm going to call this triangle A, B, C. I know the angles of this one right here. This angle, 95 degrees, is called angle. So some of you guys were calling this an L. It's actually an angle. It just looks like an L because of the way it's typed out. It's called angle ABC. Because how I label this is I first look at the corner A. That would be my first one, then B, and then C. This angle right here, so equals 95 degrees. This angle right here is called angle B, A, C, and that equals 37 degrees. And my last angle is angle C. Angle is going to be called C, AB. I have to figure out what that angle measure is. Don't worry too much about the labeling of the different types of angles. Right now I want you guys to get the math and the idea behind it first and foremost. So there is part of that worksheet that I'm going to give you today that does ask you to label it. Basically, make sure that whatever angle you are using, just missing, or whatever angle you are labeling, make sure that that corner is your first letter. Don't worry too much about the order of these ones. First and foremost, just make sure that this first letter is the one. So this would be angle A, angle B, and angle C. Usually you'll see 2 other letters after it because it's referring to the entire triangle, but don't worry, just make sure that that letter is the first one. So I'm looking for this angle CAB or angle C. To do it, I take 180, I minus 95, and then minus 37. 180 minus 95 equals 85. 85 minus 37 equals 48. So this angle right here is 48 degrees. How can you check? You add all three angles up together. So if I add 95 plus 37 plus 48, does it equal 180? Yes. And that's how I know I'm correct. So that is going to be our work for today. Pretty simple. You guys have already been doing this with supplementary angles. This time you're just dealing with 3 angles instead of just 2. So you take 180 and you subtract the 2 angles that are given to you to find the missing angle. And that's all it's going to be. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Hopefully you guys have a very nice weekend. Enjoy some of the nice weather. And I will see you guys Monday. Make sure if you have any questions, you're emailing me. I've been seeing a lot of you guys have been doing the Google Forms. And I really appreciate it because they took a lot of work to set up. So I'm really happy that a lot of you guys are enjoying it. And then I also really appreciate you guys doing the PDFs as well because it's nice and simple. And I know it's a lot easier for you guys in some ways because I know the Google form is not perfect. But either way, I do hope you guys are liking having the option of having 2 different ways of doing your homework. I'm planning on keeping it up as long as possible. The only times I might not have it is if we're dealing with something in math that I physically can't make a Google form for. I can't think of any units where we wouldn't be able to use a Google form, but they might come up here and there where the odd time or other we won't be able to use them. But for the most part, they will be there. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Email me if you have any questions, and I will see you guys on Monday.